everybody, this is Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert, a NASCAR and racing podcast coming from you live from Atlantic City for the Atlantic City indoor races. TQ Midgets, Slingshots, a couple other classes will all be in action. This is day 2, was here yesterday as well. After winning Friday night in Allentown 3 weekends before, Briggs Danner wins the Friday night main event. More on that in the recap. About to hit the pits again. We'll keep you updated. Back in studio. What a time out in AC at the Boardwalk Hall for the second race of the indoor season. As mentioned, Splash of Gas on track throughout the weekend, covering all the action. 4 different classes of cars would be racing. Champ Karts, 600 sprints, Ronnie Pavia and others. Then the Slingshots, Tyler Truex, Dylan Hoch, Nick Tomlinson, Austin Pavia, Brett Bieber, and several others. Finally, the main event, the TQ Midgets, Ryan Flores, Andy Jankowiak, Paulie Hartwig III, Briggs Danner, Tommy Catalano, Trevor Catalano, Justin Grant, and many others would be ready to put on a show. Recap of all those races, plus full interview with Tyler Truex. Unfortunately, Mother Nature and all the snow down in the Carolinas pushed the clash to the middle of the week. Stay tuned for the recap on the next episode. Preview of the Craftsman NASCAR Truck Series for the 2026 season. Yellow flag, green flag from AC. Discussions with Dave. NASCAR History Time. Paint scheme of the week. And so much more on this episode of Splash of Gas. As always, we're sponsored by Magical Travel with Dave, aka Disney Dave Weichert, my father. He will be able to help you with all your Disney and Universal vacation needs. He can be reached at DisneyDaveW@Verizon.net. Please make sure you follow all the Splash of Gas social medias for midweek and on-track updates. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert. Before we get into the recap from Atlantic City on Friday, was super excited to have the Splash of Gas sticker debut on Tyler Truex's 69 Slingshot. Big shout out to Tyler and everyone in his crew. Made me feel welcomed and right at home. Loved Allentown, but the boardwalk in Atlantic City is just a little bit bigger. And hey, right on the beach, and the casinos were very convenient too. Got down there in the afternoon, the first day of racing, as I mentioned in the intro. Boy, was it cold outside, but the on-track action would warm you right up. Practice, then time trials would be up first, then leading into racing at 7 p.m. Slingshots, Champ Karts, and the 600 sprints would all have their qualifying races for their main events on Saturday. Briggs Danner would win the Blackjack 21 Friday night in the TQ Midgets. Danner surged into the lead after Andy Jankowiak and Tommy Catalano tangled in turns 3 and 4 with 7 laps to go. Then Briggs would hold off Justin Grant, who's a USAC standout, and multi-time Gamblers Classic winner Anthony Sesley to go on to win Friday night. The victory Friday night for the Allentown, Pennsylvania native and Briggs Danner marks the second win of the Indoor Auto Racing Series championship for him. Saturday main event starting with the Champ Karts would be won by Doug Steerley. 600 sprints would be won by Stephen Kemry. Slingshots would be won by Dylan Hoch. Now for the recap of the TQ Quarter Midgets main event from Saturday night. Trevor Catalano would go on to be victorious. He would roll off 11th in the 40-lap feature and spend the opening half of the race bouncing between 6th and 10th. His night took a dramatic turn on lap 26 when chaos struck ahead as race leader and older brother Tommy Catalano tangled with Anthony Sesley in turn 3, climbing over Sesley's left side and eliminating both drivers from contention. The incident vaulted Trevor into 3rd. Another early race incident that was scary is when Andy Jankowiak, who started on the pole, would get reshuffled to the back. He would go flying, flipping through the air in turn 3. Thankfully, he was okay, and crazy to think, they got his car fixed and back on the track, just in time for the green flag minutes after. Was a scary wreck from the stands. Very grateful that Andy is alright. With 5 laps remaining, Catalano muscled his way into the inside and powered past Kyle Lick to take the lead. But the drama wasn't finished, as a multi-car crash mid-pack brought out what would be the final yellow. The restart had all us fans buzzing, with Catalano and Lick racing door to door, separated by inches on the closing lap. In the end, Trevor Catalano would be victorious. What a race to cap off the weekend in AAC. Now for trivia question time. This episode's question is, with the Daytona 500 in 2 weekends, who won the first 500 in 1959? Answer coming at the end. Now for yellow flag, green flag from AAC. Yellow flag, unfortunate for Andy J, as I was just mentioning, scary scene as he goes flying in the main event. Big shout out to Andy J's crew and Paulie Hartwig Jr. fixing Andy J's car and getting it back on track without even missing a lap after flipping. Pretty crazy. Now that's racing. Green flag, Trevor Catalano. Started 11th and got it done. Those Catalano brothers from New York are sure fast. Seen them from Turkey Derby, Allentown, then at AC. Now for discussions with Dave, part 1. Remembering the Biff on the race for the seat. When it was announced several weeks ago, I said on the show, pretty excited for the Ram Colleague Racing race for the seat. 15 drivers competing on a reality racing show. I am not a fan of reality TV by any means. To be honest, I was slightly nervous that it was going to be more reality than racing. By episode 2, I was hooked. And little known fact, the first driver I ever interviewed on track was Cade Brown, who is in the show. Cade won the 2023 South Carolina 400. On one of the recent episodes, the drivers take a trip to the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte. Even though the show is debuting now, assuming it was filmed over the fall just after the end of the NASCAR season, and when all the drivers get to the Hall of Fame, they are greeted by no other than Greg Biffle, the Biff. Biffle's message to the drivers was that you need to finish before you can win. You can wreck out and not go anywhere. Words to live by, and like all of these episodes, I'm watching them at the end of the day, winding down. I was not expecting to see Greg Biffle on this show at all. This footage, came before his early passing in December in that terrible plane crash with him and his family. For us fans, we're very fortunate for this coverage and for this footage of the Biff with the drivers. You could see how enthused and excited the drivers were to pick the mind of Greg Biffle. Great job, Ram and Colleague, on that one. Took me by surprise and 100% had goosebumps. Moving right along to the next topic and discussions with Dave. And we're still talking about the race for the seat. In one of the episodes, they take late model cars and race them on the South Course at Virginia International Raceway. Past Cars Tour champ and current Colleague driver Brendan Butterbean Queen tested out and got all the late models up to his standards for the drivers in the race for the seat. This caught the eye of ZMAX Cars Tour owner Dale Earnhardt Jr. Earnhardt posted on X saying, and I quote, "This would be awesome to find a pathway to get one single road course event on our schedule, the ZMAX Cars Tour. I've learned through the Dodge deal, on the front end we would need different transmissions and oil pans. there's also a lot more expense per team to consider beyond that, but it's not entirely unlikely. Don't get me wrong, open wheel modifieds are my first love. I've said on this show several times, watching super late models up close at these short tracks is just so much unexplainable awesomeness. And it's really neat that the race for the seat, the stuff that they were doing there, a little bit non-traditional, but it catches the eye of Junior. And heck, maybe we see a road course on the Cars Tour with super late models in a year or two. That would be great. Next topic, and on the road course side of things, Dario Franchitti has announced he will be hopping in a Tricon garage truck for the Truck Series race at St. Petersburg, Florida. The 52 Franchitti is a 4-time IndyCar champ, winning 3 in a row from 2009 to 2011, with his first championship coming in 2007. Also, Franchitti is one of 10 drivers with at least 3 Indianapolis 500 wins. I did not know this until now, but makes sense. Franchitti is close friends with Jimmy Johnson, who we know is going to be running the Tricon truck at the road course at the Navy base Coronado. Franchitti will get in there first before Johnson and see how everything pans out on the St. Pete circuit. Very cool. Last topic on DWD Part 1, my Atlantic City experience. First thing I noticed when looking at the track at AC, comparing it to Allentown, still tight nonetheless, little bit more room compared to Allentown. The Allentown facilities where the AHL Lehigh Valley Phantoms play is definitely close quarters. More room on the turns and slightly on the straightaways in Atlantic City. Nonetheless, it's indoor racing on a fifth of a mile track. Drivers would have their elbows out. Walking around the pits, these drivers are competitive just like any of the National Touring Series, from the big names to the lesser known. And of course, there are some rivalries between some of the drivers, but the one thing that I felt stays the same from the drivers to the crews, just the love for the sport, enduring love for racing. You'll hear more when we talk to Tyler. It was very neat to see all of this up front and up close, and of course at the Saturday night after party at the Wild West Casino. And that wraps up Discussions with Dave, Part 1. Now for Paint Scheme of the Week. Staying on the Truex side of things, Michael Waltrip's Racing 56, Napa, driven by Martin Truex Jr. This was one of the schemes that was known with Marty T early in his career. Check out the Instagram for that specific scheme later in the week. Now for NASCAR History Time, 500ths of years past. Starting with 1981, the ever crafty, the king, Richard Petty, already at this time in his mid-40s, rolled the dice in a bold late race pit strategy, opting to take less fuel while others only changed tires. The gamble, well, it paid off for Petty, as he stretched his mileage perfectly to capture his record-setting 7th 500 win. Behind him, Bobby Allison, who dominated much of the race, leading 117 laps, but heartbreak struck for him late when guess what? He ran out of fuel. Allison was forced to coast nearly an entire lap before heading down pit road. Allison in the end would be credited with the second place finish after it was looking like he had the winning car. Fast forwarding to 2008, the 50th running of the Daytona 500 delivered yet another memorable finish. Teammates Ryan Newman and Kurt Busch locked bumpers and drafted together in a dash for the checkered flag. In the final moments, Busch gave Newman a decisive push that sent him to victory lane, earning Newman's first Daytona 500, also securing the first 500 for owner Roger Penske. The finish was one for the record books, going down as the fourth closest margin of victory in 500 history. Now for the 2026 Craftsman NASCAR Truck Series season preview. We'll go over all the trucks that are slated to run full-time in 2026. Starting with the number 1 Tricon Garage Toyota, we just mentioned Jimmy Johnson and Dario Franchitti will start off driving that one. We'll see what the driver schedule looks like for the one for the rest of the season. Number 2 for Team Rayum, Luke Baldwin was talking to Luke's brother, Jack, at the Turkey Derby. Luke is on a part-time schedule with Rayum this year. What other drivers will make the rest of that? We'll find out in the upcoming week. Driver of the number 7 Chevy for Spire Motorsports will be Connor Mozak on a part-time schedule. We know Michael McDowell will run the truck in Daytona. Saw Kyle Busch run the 7 in years past, looking fast and getting to victory lane. Number 9, CR7 Motorsports, none other than Grant Enfinger. Should be another championship contending season for Grant. Number 10, the first of the Colleague Rams we will talk about. Daniel Dye goes from Xfinity back to the Truck Series. Now the truck everyone was looking out last year, the number 11 Tricon Toyota. This season it will be driven by Caden Honeycutt. Honeycutt last year, after the split with Nice Motorsports, hops in Stuart Friesen's truck and gets into the Champ 4. Honeycutt runs for a championship in Phoenix last year with not even winning a Truck Series race yet. That's going to change in 2026. The second Colleague Ram, number 12, will be driven by Brendan Butterbean Queen. Queen is coming off an ARCA Series championship. This will be his first full-time Truck Series season. Will they be able to get the Ram truck up to speed quickly? First of the Thor Sport Fords we'll discuss. Driver of the 13 will be Cole Butcher. Butcher just won the ASA All-Star Championship in 2025. Truly excited to what the Canadian driver can do in a top Thor Sport truck. The 14 Colleague Ram, still TBD, as that's the seat that will be driven and won in the reality TV show, The Race for the Seat. Number 15, Tricon Garage Toyota, returning is Tanner Gray. Last year was tough for Tanner. Think he's able to rebound in a top Toyota truck. 16 Colleague Ram will be driven by Justin Haley. Spoke to Justin last year on the show. He was driving for several seasons with Spire Motorsports in the Cup Series. Justin won several races on the Xfinity side of thing for Colleague. Justin comes back home to Colleague to run one of their trucks. Of course, going to have the full-time All-Star seat, the 25 for the Ram, which Tony Stewart will be running in Daytona. I think of the full-time drivers, Haley is the most likely to nab a win in the first season of the Colleague Ram Alliance. Number 17, Tricon Garage Toyota, Gio Ruggiero. Gio missed out on the playoffs in 2025, then goes on to win in Talladega, the third to last race of the truck season. No reason why the young Ruggiero isn't a championship contender in 2026. McAnally Higgleman, 18 Chevy, Tyler Ankrum. We saw Ankrum in the Champ 4. Tyler was victorious in Rockingham last year and has been in the Truck Series for a while at this point. What can Ankrum do? Keeping it on the McAnally Higgleman side of things, Daniel Hemrick will be back with them. He won the spring Martinsville race in the 19. Hemrick brings a lot of Cup and an Xfinity championship with him as well. Number 22 Ford from Team Rayum. Right now, Josh Rayum is scheduled as the driver. Just like last year, I'm sure they will bring and rotate several drivers throughout that seat. The 26 Chevy for Rackley War Racing in his second season will be Dawson Sutton. Dawson has been lights out on the super late model side of things recently. Can that translate into the truck? Back to the Team Reum stables for the 33. Malcolm in the middle, Frankie Muniz will be back for a second full-time season. 34 Front Row Motorsports, Lane Riggs will be running for a championship in contention for sure. Staying in the same stable, Chandler Smith will drive the 38. Smith was an early exit from the playoffs this past season. I think that should change in 2026. 42 Nice Motorsports, Chevy, Travis Pastrana will start off the season in that truck in Daytona, and Tyler Reif will run a majority of that schedule as well. 44 for Nice, Andres Perez de Laura was talking about Andres last episode when it was announced he will be full-time truck racing again with Nice Motorsports. Moving to the 52 Toyota from Halmar Friesen Racing. Very exciting news that Stuart Friesen is all healed up and will be back in the 52, which we saw won in Michigan last year. Spencer Boyd will drive the Freedom Racing Enterprises 76 Chevy entry. McAnally Higgleman 81 Chevy will be driven by Chris Wright. Wright ran parts of the Xfinity schedule and ARCA schedule last season. What can Wright do full-time in the truck? With Matt Crafton leaving the 88 for ThorSport after multiple Truck Series championships, Ty Majeski will take over driving the 88. 91 for McAnally Higgleman Racing will be none other than Christian Eckes. Eckes ran with this team in previous seasons. Last year, he ran the Xfinity schedule with Colleague Racing. Christian has a slew of wins on the Truck Series. Can he be competitive back with MHR? I think so. Jake Garcia still stays with ThorSport, but moves from the 13 to the 98. Last but not least, Ben Rhodes, two-time Truck Series champ, will drive the 99 for ThorSport. And that is the 2026 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Season Preview. And now for an interview with Tyler Truex. Next guest we bring on the Splash of Gas. Just wrapped up the indoor season in Atlantic City, hauling some mail in his Slingshot. None other than 2025 Wall Modified Track Champ, Tyler Truex. Thanks for joining the show, Tyler.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. Great to bring you on. Spoke to you during Turkey Derby, and then was ecstatic to have the sticker on the car with AC. I was saying earlier in the episode that the hospitality, just the friendliness, not only you but your family, friends, and crew, shared was just awesome. You saw me there. I was just having such a great time, and just happy to be a part of everything with you guys.
Yeah, I was glad to have you there. It was a pleasure, and that's kind of the atmosphere we try and bring to the racetrack. It's just you got to have fun doing it. If you don't have fun doing it, then there's no point in doing it. There's so much work and stuff involved into trying to get to the track that over the years I've realized to kind of take the time at the track and try to enjoy it, because we spend way too much time in the shop to be stressed out the whole time while you're there too.
Yeah, exactly. It was just a really fun atmosphere. Can't wait for to do that with you guys more for sure in 2026.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it too. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Before we start talking about the AC action, before our recording was talking about this past Turkey Derby. Friday in the wall mod, start on the pole, you come home third, then eighth on the tour mod. You also ran the sport feature as well. How would you sum up the 2025 Turkey Derby this year?
A busy one, but all in all, after coming off of the year that we had, I was looking forward to getting back to the track and being able to talk to everybody and see everybody, and being able to run all three modified divisions is always special to me. It's not every day you get to drive for other people and show up to the track and be able to be competitive in all three classes. So I don't take that for granted. That's for dang sure. But yeah, the wall mods especially. We got lucky and got the redraw to start on the pole, so that was nice. Got to lead a couple laps after, like I said, coming off of what we did during the season. To be able to start on the pole and then lead some laps and end up finishing third there was huge to go into the rest of the week, with the tour mod, and then scoring the pole with Joe King, Sportsman, was really special, especially after him losing his dad a couple days prior. So I really wanted that for him. I wish we could have finished better, but like you said, running all three divisions and then running the tour car beforehand, before the Sportsman race that night, I ended up twisting my wrist and banging my wrist up. So going into the Sportsman, I'm not using it as an excuse. I made a bonehead decision anyway, but I was pretty sore going into it anyway, so it kind of stunk that we couldn't have done better for Joe and his family.
Appreciate the honesty. Definitely a busy weekend there, just like you said. As I've been sharing with you, I've been going to Wall for pretty much most of my life. I mean, any Turkey Derby memories that stand out for you?
I've been going there my whole life, so there's just so many of just in my brother race and going there pushing little cars around with my cousins and watching Martin and stuff. So I've been just going there my whole life. I never really took appreciative of it till I started racing myself, though. I don't know. I mean, they're all special. They're all special in a different way. I think the one that stands out the most is when I went and raced my Sportsman there, the tour mod there, and finished third to Matt Hirschman. But me and Matt ended up staying out the whole 150 laps on one set of tires. And I ended up following Matt for the entire race till about 20 to go, and he left me in the dust and ended up finishing third. But, I learned a lot that race, and that was probably one of the coolest races of my career as far as learning what Matt was doing and trying to stay with him for a long run. And like I said, we were lapping the field. I think we lapped up to the end of the top 10. And like I said, just trying to keep the right rear on it for 150 laps in a tour mod was pretty crazy, but it was cool to do. So that was one of my more memorable ones for me.
Cool. Always such a great time out there in Wall in the end of November. So cool. I really do appreciate you touching on that. And I kind of forgot you and Hirschman stayed out there on that one set. So a lot to learn for sure. Cool. Getting into Atlantic City. I mean, practice day Thursday. You bring three slingshots. You, Nick, Austin. What did you guys all learn on Thursday? Sounds like you were tweaking a good amount of stuff.
I'm glad that we got there on the practice day like we did. Just little things like the tech stuff kind of put us a little behind the eight ball, or put me behind the eight ball. I can't really blame it on them because I'm the guy that's supposed to have them cars prepped and ready to go to the track. So I just wasn't. A couple of the safety issues we ran into, and a couple belly pans we needed to make when we got to the track. So it put me behind the eight ball a little bit for Thursday. But like I said, I was glad we were able to get all them bugs out and everything because both them guys ran really, really good Thursday and into Friday. There's more issues on my car, which is I'd rather that be that way. But yeah, I mean, it was just a busy week, but everything worked out pretty good, and by the end of Thursday, all the issues were gone. We were all pretty quick.
Yeah, that's what you were saying Thursday night. So I'm glad that you got that time to shake those things out. Friday was a tough one. Qualifying doesn't go your way, and then in the qualifying race, cars were going all over the place as we saw. What happened in that one?
Yeah, again, it's hard bringing three cars to the track, and me not knowing them cars is like I do with the asphalt modified stuff. So when a keyway fell out of my sprocket hub and ended up essentially ending our qualifying. I didn't even get to make a lap, and everybody I told in the slingshot world was like, "You didn't have a set collar on there, or you didn't silicone it in," or so. It's a common issue that I just didn't know about. So I put that one on me. So we started dead last in the heat race, which put us behind the eight ball. And I ended up getting up to 6, and we were passing for the transfer spot. And it's so hard to see in them cars. So I was in the inside of the guy, and he just put me down to the tires, and the guy behind me ended up driving me up through him. So, like I said, it's just the product of the racing there. It's hard. We're all trying to go for a transfer spot, obviously, and you can't see as it is, and you only got so many laps to make a decision. So, yeah, we ended up getting involved in an accident back and bending up the whole axle, and again, ahead of us going into Saturday morning.
Got it. Yeah, I didn't realize that was a common issue with the Slingshots, and the vision. I didn't realize it was that limited out there. But really appreciate that insight. Then the Saturday was a different story for you in the '69. You showed out in the B main, winning that after starting 5th. It really looked like a rocket there. And then to the main event, you start 21st. What were you feeling going into Saturday night after ending up P7th?
Yeah, well, like I was saying before, is all the issues we had all week. I never really got a chance to feel the car out or see like really what we had. I was always like qualifying was really my first time on the track to really be able to see where I set myself against everybody, and we ended up not even getting a lap. So starting in dead last in the B main or in the heat race, it was tough to really, again, see what I had, to see come up through the field and not tear it up, and I ended up tearing it up. So Saturday morning, it was just throw the car together, go out for the B main, and just hopefully survive and see how it is. And we ended up running really good. It was fast. The car felt really good. Like I wish we could have been able to find out what we had earlier. But starting dead last, like you said, I just wanted to survive. I got lucky making it through the B main. We won that. Car felt really good. And it was just survival. I followed Brett Bieber, and he's won a couple championships in them cars on the outdoor stuff. And has always been really nice to me. Has always driven me with respect. So I'm not there to make any bad blood. I don't want to have any bad blood on the modified end or the slingshot end, But at the end of the day, it wasn't worth tearing it up or trying to drive to the inside of somebody like I tried to do in the heat race and costing yourself to go to the back. So I just followed Brett. We got lucky, was able to make passes. A lot of guys got put to the rear. A lot of cars spun out and stuff. And by the end of it, we ended up coming home 7th.
Awesome. Thanks for the insight from the driver's seat on that one, and just the honesty how you were racing those other guys.
Yeah, some days it's just not worth pushing the issue. Like I said, if it was within the top 5 and we were at that chance to go for a spot in tech or a win, then I would make a different decision. But anything from 5th on back, you got to almost be 99% sure that the move's going to be successful. It's just not worth it. You're going to get put to the rear or going to bend up your car for an extra $10, an extra 2 points, So sometimes it's not worth it.
Got it, and especially like a tight track at like Atlantic City. Totally understand that. Thank you for all the insight going over AC. Great being there with you guys, and thanks for breaking it down at the end. Mentioning at the start, 2025 Wall Modified season, you claimed the championship. We were just kind of talking about some memories at Wall. It's a long season. But in the end, after you claim the championship, you have some time to think about it. What did last year's mod championship at Wall mean to you?
First off, it's definitely special for the family. The family name's been racing there for as long as the Blew It name, and nobody's actually won the Walmart Championship as a Truex, so it's nice for me to get that for the family. But just
some bragging rights.
Yeah, definitely. It's got one up on Martin, But no, it's good for the family. Like I said, it's nice to have us in the record books on that end as far as the Walmart champions. Like I said, I'm grateful it's me, but it's just nice for the family tree too. Like I said, that's a family racetrack for a lot of family names, and I feel like one of us, our last name is one of the names that's had many generations come through there. So. Yeah, it's just special to be able to add my name to the list.
Awesome. Surely you have a long racing family legacy there at Wall with the Truex name. Appreciate you touching upon that. One thing that really impressed me, as I was saying over the weekend, I mean, I know you've been doing this your whole life, but I mean, not running in Allentown, what happened on Friday night, the Slingshots and the B main. I mean, you passed a lot of cars. I mean, you really like got that car together with the axle, and just really impressed how quick you're moving, and in a stressful situation. I mean, what continues to drive you to do that?
Just turning wrenches my whole life on my own equipment. I've always told people that my last name's got its pros and its cons. I'm very, very thankful for the people that are in my corner. I'm very thankful for the family I have. But sometimes it comes with a little bit of people think that I've got everything and I've gotten everything handed to me, and that's just not the case, And I like working. I like working on race cars. It's 3/4. Obviously, we love going to the racetrack and racing, but I also enjoy the aspect of getting it fast in the race shop, and we've proven that this year with the equipment we have. I mean, I've got one of the oldest cars that raced in the Walmart division this year. I mean, my car is 22 years old and just won the championship there, and I know I'm racing against a lot newer equipment, and I've always been that way in my career, but a lot of people in the grandstands don't see it that way. So I've always just taken that, as far as like I just work my butt off. I enjoy knowing the race car, and my family's instilled that into me. Martin has told me that too. No good race car driver is not going to be able to tell you how to work on it. You got to kind of do it yourself. So I've enjoyed that end of it, and like you said, touching back with Allentown or Atlantic City, it's just sometimes you got to do it or it's not going to get done. And that was kind of that situation. It was either throw the towel in and we load the car up, or I start turning wrenches and get it all taken apart and see how far we make it, and hopefully we can make it and get it done by the B main in the morning. And we were lucky enough to get it together, get everything set where I wanted it, and went out in the B main and won it. So, like you said, it's just sometimes you gotta want it more than the other guy.
Got it. Thank you for touching upon that. I mean, it definitely, like I said on Friday, it did not seem like the best situation, and just got to get out there and want it, like you said. So, really appreciate you touching upon that, and just all the insight that you bring. I really do, that great insight is just awesome, Tyler. Last question, man. I mean, next weekend is going to be the 500. Got to get you some cash for that pool you're doing. But any predictions? Anyone that you think will be running up front?
Well, always the Fords are always fast there. Obviously, Toyotas are pretty good. Every team anymore is really good with working with each other. So we'll just have to see. I'm not sure I haven't really paid attention too much lately, but as far as the Fords on the super speedway stuff are hard to beat, especially as well as they work together. But I know that there's not many left as far as Ford teams. So it's gonna be tough. I think the Chevys are gonna be fast. There's a lot of Chevys this year, a lot of alliances. It's so up in the air. That's why Daytona is always fun. You kind of really never know. It's just the pack that you're in or where you're at the end. Seems like the last couple of years, there hasn't really been many heavy hitters left at the end. So it brings it back to survival and just trying to be there at the end.
Luck of the draw sometimes. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you touch upon everything, Tyler. And can't wait to see you at Wall and talk to you very soon. All right?
All right, man. Thank you. I appreciate everything, and looking forward to getting back on the show.
Yeah, heck yeah. Have you on soon, all right? Thanks, Tyler.
Awesome.
What a great conversation with Tyler. As I was saying, great to see all that AC action from last weekend with his team. Now for discussions with Dave, part 2. NASCAR lawsuit has officially been finalized. I am no law expert by any means, and following the ins and outs of this whole lawsuit, which was spread out for, at this point, a long period of time, I felt was a little bit hard to follow for the normal NASCAR fan. In the end, I believe things settled for the best for both sides with this agreement. Last week marked the finalization of the lawsuit, the agreements that they came up with. Happy we can all put this in the rearview mirror. More news on who's filling more seats for the Daytona truck race. YouTuber Cletus McFarlane will be pairing up with Nice Motorsports for an entry in the Truck Series race at Daytona, pending everything goes smoothly at the Rockingham test. Saw Cletus at the ARCA test in 2025, a season which sees him run several ARCA races. He's a great racing personality. Think it's great for the sport to see him make a progression. Nice Motorsports also announces that Travis Pastrana, Motorsports superstar, will be hopping in one of their truck seats for the Fresh from Florida 250 on Friday the 13th. McFarland and Pastrana, two great personalities in their own right, should be some great PR content coming our way, I believe. More news on the O'Reilly Auto Parts side. Gio Ruggiero will be competing in a pair of races in the series for Joe Gibbs Racing. We know Ruggiero drives in the truck series for Tricon Garage, which is a Team Toyota team. Saw Ruggiero win in Talladega at the end of 2025. He will run full-time again in the truck series. Joe Gibbs Racing did announce that he will be driving their 19 Toyota Supra entry in the first of the two O'Reilly Auto Parts races in 2026, first at Daytona, then in Atlanta at Echo Park Speedway the following week. In future seasons, for sure, see Ruggiero running full-time in the O'Reilly Series with Joe Gibbs. How many races will he run in that 19 in 2026? Last topic on discussions with Dave this episode did mention the test at Rockingham for the Truck Series and O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. We'll break down that on next week's episode, plus all of the Daytona coverage. This brings us to the end of the episode. That means it's trivia answer time. This episode's question is, with the Daytona 500 in 2 weekends, who won the first 500 in 1959? Have done this question in past years, so sorry if you're hearing it for the second time, but the answer is Lee Petty. As always, we're sponsored by Magical Travel with Disney Dave Weichert, my father. He will be able to help you with all your Disney and Universal vacation needs. He can be reached at DisneyDaveW@Verizon.net. Please make sure you follow all the Splash of Gas social medias for midweek and on-track updates. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert. Hope everyone has enjoyed this episode and all the content from Atlantic City. Hope you can enjoy the big game with your friends and family this Sunday. We'll talk to you soon. Till next time, Splash of Gas out.